The city of Gwangju in southwestern South Korea was the scene of a large-scale flooding disaster on July 17, 2025, when the Gwangjuchin River overflowed and excessive rainfall exceeding 386 millimeters in just hours caused roads to be submerged, public transportation systems to become inoperable, thousands of people to be evacuated, and infrastructure to be severely damaged. The torrential rain, which started to show its effect from the morning hours, came down like a wall in the afternoon hours. Areas along the Gwangjuchin were threatened by rising water levels. This river, which runs through the center of the city, overflowed in a few hours and flooded the surrounding neighborhoods. Not only Gwangju, but also some surrounding districts were left vulnerable to this extraordinary natural phenomenon. Authorities have repeatedly issued evacuation warnings, especially for those living in low-lying areas. The total amount of rainfall recorded in Gwangju during the day reached record levels. Rainfall of 386.4 millimeters was measured at the observation point in Unam-dong, and up to 370 millimeters in other areas. This is almost double the region's average rainfall for a month. This level of rainfall in such a short period of time could neither be managed by infrastructure systems nor diverted by drainage lines. As a result, surface water accumulated across the city. Sewage systems overflowed, and some rivers overflowed their beds. The heaviest rains were also heaviest in the late evening, when people were getting ready to leave work. This resulted in unprecedented traffic congestion across the city. Traffic came to a complete standstill, with both main and secondary roads closed. The Hanam Highway, the main highway in the region, was also affected by the heavy rainfall. Many of the alternative routes also became inaccessible due to the rainfall. This has almost completely halted both individual and public transportation in the city. The most serious disruption in public transportation occurred in the metro system. Some stations on Metro Line 1, especially the underground stations, were flooded with rainwater that seeped into the stations. On one section of the metro line, trains had to run non-stop at 8 stops. On the other part of the line, services were temporarily suspended. Parts of Metro Line 2 under construction were also affected by flooding, with rainwater flowing into some areas along the line. The failure of the public transportation system has forced people to make their own way to safety. This exacerbated the general chaos in the city. The Gwangju Fire Department and rescue teams were on the ground throughout the day. A convenience store had to be evacuated in the late afternoon. Dozens of people trapped inside sought help through the 119 emergency number. Rescue teams moved 77 people to safe areas. In another incident, 2 people trapped in a submerged car in the basement parking lot of an apartment building, but there were numerous rescues and safety interventions across the city. According to fire department records, more than 340 emergency notifications were received on July 17th alone. The rise of the Gwangjuchin River not only posed a flood threat, but also resulted in the complete disappearance of some roads and pedestrian areas along its banks. Some marketplaces and small businesses built around the river were inundated with muddy water. Many shopkeepers were forced to abandon their businesses before they could save their products. The extent of economic damage in these areas is expected to become clearer with the assessments to be made in the coming days.
이 물의 속도가 장난이 아니야. 곧 넘치려고 그러잖아.
Following this disaster in Gwangju, the South Korean government and local authorities declared a state of emergency. Evacuation plans were put into effect, and water evacuation works were accelerated. Authorities asked citizens not to go out unless necessary and to stay in high areas. In addition, meteorological sources announced that new rains are expected for the region. It was warned that the rain could be effective until the afternoon of the next day.